Uh, so today we'll continue with the class, and maybe after like 45 minutes or 50 minutes, we will start the lab. That will be lab zero. So who, I mean, if there is any TA who is attending, if they want, they can leave and come back after 45, 50 minutes because that's when the lab starts. You just have to be there for the lab, and that should be enough. So um, yeah, I did get a feedback asking about the way the syllabus will be structured. So I'll have it in a bit different way. So which means that after this, I will be introducing you to something called instruction set architecture, or just the ISA, for just one or two classes, so that it will help you start using, I mean, doing things in the lab. But after that, we will be directly jumping to pipelining before going through something called register transfer logic that we will cover very late in the class. The reason is very simple. You remember that we have a project component where you will be asked to build some components of what you learn. So one of the component is pipelining. So for that, I want to introduce you to pipelining before anything else, so that you can start building that in parallel. So we will do some maybe another like 3 to 4 classes or 4 to 5 classes of rest of the stuff, and then it will be like 3 to 4 weeks of just pipelining, and then 3 to 4 weeks of memory hierarchy, and then miscellaneous topics like floating point representation. And so I will introduce them as and when required, but the main chunk of computer organization will be pipelining, memory organization, and whatever we are doing now. I hope that answers your question. So is there anything else that you want to discuss? Feel free to discuss, or we'll start the class. If you have any questions, any doubts. So the lab, I already scheduled it. It will be posted at 3:50 p.m. or something like that. I think you can start using it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we were looking at this programming this guy, and we said we want. I'll just recap whatever we tried to say since it's the second class itself, and maybe it needs some kind of recap. If you're stuck somewhere, please let me know, and I will try. I'll be more than happy to help you out. So what do we have? We have one guy sitting here with 4 boxes, and you are asking him to process something. And we have named them boxes because this guy can understand only zeros and ones. He cannot understand anything else. So we have named these boxes 00, 01, 10, and 11. But we don't want to increase the number of boxes in his house, so we have kept a lot of boxes somewhere here, which has a directional limit, and there's a girl standing here, and she's both are in tandem with each other, like, and they pass on commands from each other. Right, and there are many boxes here. So let's say there are a lot of boxes here, and similarly, we have named these boxes using some kind of numbering system. So we have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and so on and so forth. And we also have some set of some kind of instruction set, which we say that he can do add, subtract, multiply, divide, load, store, and we'll come to jump later. So how do we specify this add? Of course, if I go and tell this guy add something, he will not understand. So you will have to tell it in terms of binary numbers. So you say all zeros, then he is ready to add something. But what should he add? That is given by the source one, source two, and destination. So whatever is there in these two sources source will be added and returned back to the destination. Right? So if I want to tell him to add whatever is there in 00 and 01 and keep it in 10, I have to tell him 000 followed by 00, 01, and 10, which means that whatever is there in this particular box and this particular box will be added and kept in this particular box. Right? So I hope till now this is clear. Right? So is there any doubt? Does anybody have a doubt in till now, whatever we have discussed? So you should be able to write fairly easy programs. Like if I want you to say add two numbers and then compute the result and then add some other number to this, you should be able to do it, right? Or whatever, right? So add, subtract, multiply, divide, and load and store. And why do I need load and store? The reason I need load and store is I have to communicate to this girl to either copy something to here or copy it back to something here. So if I do a load, the load command is given by 100. So the moment he sees 100, he'll say, okay, this is not my command. I will pass it on to this girl. So then this is 100, and then I specify other 4 bits or how many ever bits. So I have 4 bits here. So this is the source. When I say this is the source, so whenever this is the load, this source is different from this source. Here, the source means that the boxes are inside this particular house, but this source means that I'm talking to these boxes. So now I'm saying it is all 4 zeros. It means that I'm talking about this box, and whatever is there in this box will be copied to this box. Right? So that's what load is doing. If I say store, whatever is there in this source 01 will be copied to this particular box. Right? So I have a load and store. So these are different instructions when compared to these instructions. These are memory instructions, which means that these instructions are passed to this girl, and these are like arithmetic instructions, which means that you are acting upon some data. So now what was the task that we were actually doing? We were trying to figure out, I want to add, so there are some numbers that I have stored here, and I have, say, let's say I have, say 30 numbers. Let's say I have 30 numbers. Okay. And I want to find the sum of all the 30 numbers. This is in fact, this has 30 numbers here. So there are these 30 numbers. So I want to add these 30 numbers, and finally I want the result to be in one of these small boxes in my house. So now can you tell me how do I go about doing this? See, one way to do this is I just do. So how do I do this? Okay, I mean, maybe I should allow you to answer. So let's say I want to do it in a dumb way, right? So how do I do this? So did everybody understand the question at least? I mean, answer is fine. Did you understand the question? Is there anybody who did not understand the question? What is my goal? There are in these boxes there are numbers. Each box contains one number. And there are 30 such boxes with 30 numbers. I want to add all these numbers and keep the sum of that numbers in this here in any of these 4 boxes. So that is my goal. So how do I do this? Using this set of instructions that I have, just this set of instructions that I have. First of all, can I do it only using this set of instructions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. So how do I do this?
Load one value,
Yes.
add it, then store it in some other,
Yeah.
and then repeat the process, like repeat this same code 30 times.
Yes. So I just do load. So when I say load, I'm actually not telling load. What am I saying? I'm saying 100, because that's what I'm representing the load by. So I say 100, and then I do all zeros. Then I copy it to 00. So and then do I do something else?
Then again load.
Yeah, then again load, then say maybe 0001 to say 01, and then I do add. So what is add for me? Add is all zeros, right? So add is all zeros. So I do all zeros. So this is the instruction that I am giving. This is the instruction, and these are the operands. It can be source operands, destination operands. I am not bothered about. Of course, this entire thing is an instruction. This is called a mnemonic, but let's not get into it. Okay, so now I say I have it one value in 00, the other value in 01. So maybe I want to do 00 and 01, and then I store it in 10. Now again I do a load, but I now do a load with 10. I store it in 00, and then what do I do? Then I can just do add directly, right? So this is add followed by 00, 10, and then store it back in 10. Right? So these two gets repeated again and again. Does everybody follow why I am doing this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. So let's put a poll. I anyway start the poll here. This is an anonymous poll. If you didn't understand, please let me know, or you should say yes. Okay. So most of you seem to have understood it. I mean, this is anyway anonymous, so you know. Okay, some person did not understand it. Okay. I'll just try to repeat it again. So what is my goal? My goal is that there are 30 numbers. So there are 30 numbers here. I want to add all these numbers and find the result and compute the result and store it in one of the boxes here. How do I do it? I load one value here, the other value here, sum of these two values, keep it here, right? And then I load one more value here, and anyway I have the result of the previous two numbers. So I add these two numbers and keep it back here. Then I copy one number here. I anyway have this result of all the three numbers here. So I add these three numbers, I add these two numbers and keep it back here. So I repeat this process until I touch the 30 numbers, right? So then I know that I will have the summation of all the numbers in this case. But this guy does not understand an instruction called load, store, or anything of that sort. So I have to give him in binary numbers because he understands only 1 or 0. So I am saying the load is mapped to 100. He understands somehow that if I say 100, he has to pass on that instruction to this girl, and this girl will do this copy. Right? So I have 100 followed by the operands, then another load, then this 00 somehow represents add. This is what I have come up with. You could have come up with something else. It's completely fine. So then I do an add, then load, then add. Right? So okay. Let's assume that now we have understood this, but where we stopped was we were trying to understand, instead of writing so many lines of code, again, I mean, instead of writing so many lines of code, can I do something better? And one of the conclusions that we came to is that we'll add one more instruction called jump. Right? So that's where we, I think, stopped. Let's say we came up till jump. Right? Yeah, somebody also won the prize for the today. Also, there will be a prize. So let's see who will get that prize. Okay, so I did a jump. I added 110, and somebody said, I want to. So after these two, like let's say somebody has written these two instructions. Let's say somebody has written this till here. So what have I computed? I have computed the sum of these two numbers, right? And this guy contains the sum of these two numbers. Now I want to compute the sum of this number followed by this number followed by this number. Why? Because this number is nothing but the summation of these two numbers. So if I compute the summation of these two numbers, it is fine. So somebody said we'll do jump followed by 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, because somebody wants to jump here, and that's it. So somehow we assume that if I give this command, this person will read this value and compute the sum. But do you think it will happen that way?
No, sir.
No, right? Why? Because if you do that, then he will just go and jump here, right? And he will just sleep here. So you don't want that to happen, because you have told him to jump, he'll just jump. So now what? How do you modify this? So what will you specify in the jump?
Sir, can we put some like let's say index or some numbering to the instructions, and then we can say that
Okay.
jump to this particular instruction,
Okay.
and then do that. And in that particular instruction, so let's say it's load some value and then add it. So as a parameter to jump, we can first pass the instruction, like to which instruction it should go, and then we can pass one index, let's say. So index means from where it should load the value,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe one more condition from like from when to terminate.
Okay. So did everybody understand? So I think he's coming from the C programming perspective. He is saying, I will jump. So I have written 3 instructions here. If you see here, I have written 3 instructions. So this is, let's call it as instruction 1, instruction 2, and instruction 3. Now we have agreed that the instruction 4 should be load. For instruction 4 should be jump, which means that I have written 110. But he wants to specify something here such that it will jump to somewhere. Now, where do you want to jump? So let's not worry about to specify something to this guy. So from 110, where do you want to jump? Do you want to jump back to I2 or jump back to I3?
First of all, I2, because you have to load value also, the new
Okay,
value.
so what is I2 having? I2 is having, you are loading from this particular guy, right?
Yes, sir. That's why I said that we will specify one more parameter. Let's say that what will be the new index, or maybe we can add I4 as like let's say we increment the.
You can add one in it so that it
Huh.
increments
Okay.
the
Okay. So we are
address.
going step by step. See, did everybody understand why there is a problem if I do something like this? If I do something like this, let's say he somehow understands that we haven't yet figured out how this guy understands jump I2 means he will go and execute this instruction again. He has already executed this instruction, but we haven't yet understood how he will go and execute this instruction again. Right? But let's say he understands it. But the problem is that this instruction for him means that he has to load whatever is here, but we want him to load whatever is here, right? Okay, what do you want to do it for? What do you want to do now?
So can you
Increment.
say, okay, sorry.
No, go ahead. I mean, either of the two is fine.
So can we say that the girl can have like a pointer sort of thing, and we can add a command that makes her move the index? So then we can just repeat that index. So
Yeah,
like
the only
giving her
problem
like an
is,
increment command sort of thing.
yeah, the only problem is that the girl, I mean, I can't talk to the girl. I have to talk to the girl only through the guy. So whatever instructions I have to add through the guy. So yeah, that's the problem. Okay, so now do you want to modify this load some way? Maybe I don't want to specify the source this way. Maybe I want to specify the source some other way.
Like we'll say load a chunk of memory, something like that.
No, right? I just have only 4 tiny boxes in my house. I can't chunk the entire memory here, right?
Like we'll load first 2. After that, sometime we'll load the next 2
Yeah, but
continuously.
how do you tell him after some time? Like, what is that after some time?
Maybe we can kind of have some clock for them.
No, it's a good thought process, but that's not viable. Yeah, it's a different thought process. Yeah.
Can we have some kind of a variable inside this person's
Excellent,
house?
right? Yeah, right. So now, okay. So what Aditya is saying is this: here we specified 000 directly, right? But I could have had a load where instead of this 000, right, I could have specified the box number, and this box actually has the value of from where to load. Do you get what I'm saying? Let's say I had some kind of load which said 100, and then I had 01, and then I had 11. Now, how does this load work? It sees that this is a load, okay, and instead of reading the entire 4 digits or 4 bits, it will read these 2 bits. It will go to the box 01, and in this 01, maybe in the box 01, let's say what is there in this 01, right? Let's say in this box 01, there is 4 zeros. Then he will modify this instruction, right? This guy is intelligent enough to figure out that, okay, what will he pass on to the girl? He will not pass on this exact instruction to this girl. Can anybody tell me what he will pass on as instruction to this girl?
What is there inside the box?
Yes, right. So what will be the instruction that will be passed on to the girl? He'll say, hey, can you do this? Right. So then whatever is there in 000, right? Whatever is there in 000 will be copied back to. Does everybody agree this is one way to solve what we have faced? Maybe.
So can you explain this once again?
Okay. So did you understand why there is a problem here?
Yeah.
Right, because this instruction, if I go back to this instruction, I'm always loading from 001. I am not loading from any of the next further instructions, further memory boxes, right? So now, why is that problem coming? So we are asking, okay, we understood what is the problem, but we have to ask, why is that problem? And the problem is because this 000 is sometimes called hard-coded, right? Even when you write your C program, sometimes you don't take the variable n, you say I less than 100 and you write your program. But then you want to change it to I less than 200. What will you do?
Go to the program and change.
Yeah, go to the program to change. But if you don't want to go to the program and change, how do you define that? I less than?
Some variable,
right?
Taken on board.
Yes, right. You say 100, 200, 300, but you put it as n, right? So similarly, instead of having all 4s, the hard-coded value here, the memory value here, I will have a register value here. So my load will not. So now, okay, let's say what was my load? My load was something like this. Load, okay, mem address, right, or mem box address, right, whatever this address, and destination and small box. Let's call this small box as register, right? Let's figure out later why we are doing this. Instead of this, I am saying my load will be something like this: load, source register, and destination register. But this source register is not the source register as what an add source register is. So when I do something like this is something like this, right? So I am saying 100, that is the load, and then the source register is 01, that is this particular box, and I want to store something in this 11. But what is that something in 11? Whatever is there in this, whatever is there in this n, right? So it's, you can consider that register as n. Now what is there in 0 1? What is there in 0 1? Zeros, right? So this guy will convert this instruction to this kind of instruction. So now this instruction will become 1 0 0 followed by 4 zeros followed by 1 1 and pass it on to this girl. Now what will this girl do? This girl will read whatever is there in this particular box and keep it in
1
1 1. Did everybody follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's say you didn't follow. Let's say now I want him to use the same instruction, but I want him to make sure that whatever is there, instead of copying this to here, I want him to make sure that whatever is here should be copied here. How will you do it?
Add 1 to load.
Add 1.
No, not
Like
to load, right?
not load a source register and then
Yeah, right. So I just increment the source register, right? Let's say I add somehow 1 to this, right? So I will add 1 to this. So instead of this 0 0 0, it will become 0 0 0 1, right? That's what will be there in this 0 1, right? So now the same instruction, I will give the same instruction, but this instruction will no longer be converted to this instruction, but it will be converted to 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 and 1 1. Do you see this? Okay. Did everybody follow? It's important for you to follow this. I will use the technical terms later.
Sir, will he convert? Will he always convert this to the second load instruction?
Yes. So it's a good question. So what I don't know, Sridham is asking is, how does he know the difference between this load, and this load? That's what you're indirectly asking, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But let's say I quickly figure out that this load is of no use to me, because if I have this load, I don't need this load at all, right? Because
But
whatever.
But then he will lose the ability to add and store the values which are inside the 4 boxes only.
Yeah. So you are using one box for something else, is what you are saying.
No, sir. Suppose if we want to add 2 values which are in 0 0 and 0 1 and put in 1 0, then according to this load instruction.
No, these are different instruction. This is different instruction. You are changing this instruction to this instruction. These remain the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Now, did I answer? I think I answered, but.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay, we'll see why all this matters. But let's say, okay, did everybody understand what I'm trying to say about this load instruction?
Sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, the new load is kind of passed by reference.
Yes, excellent. It's passed by reference. So that's why in computer organization term, it's called indirect addressing mode. What you saw before is called direct addressing mode. What you are seeing now is called indirect addressing mode. Exactly, it's like passed by reference. So you are using some other register to figure out from where should I load. So that's why it's called indirect addressing mode. I didn't want to introduce the technical terms so early, but that's called indirect addressing mode. Yes. But more importantly, it's not about understanding the technical terms. You should understand why we came up with this, right? So I mean, the Intel didn't tell you, AMD did not tell you. We are building our own chip, right? So we are figuring out this thing. So it's nobody told us this, right? We had a problem at hand and we are trying to solve this, but nobody told us to come up with this design. You might have come up with some other design. Actually, somebody came up with some other design, right? Somebody said, why can't I use a clock? After some time, it will start loading by on its own. Maybe he might, in the future, go and join Intel and change the entire industry, right? I don't know. It might happen. Okay, so now let's say I have this power of load where I specify the source register. Okay, so now what should I do? All right, so let's say instead of these instructions, I will do something like this. I will have my instruction 1 will be load. I will not write 100 anymore because I assume that is load. And let's say the starting address is somewhere stored in always the small box 00. Right? Let's say the small box 00 here has always 4 zeros. Right? So I will do load 00 and I will store it in 01. Okay. what will be my instruction 2?
To increase the value in 0, 0 by 1.
Yes, excellent. So what should I increase it by? 1. And let's
Yes,
say, okay, let's say for your easy, I mean, let's say, let's make our life easier, right? Let's say this 1, 1 always has the value 1 here. Okay. So now what do? I do add, right? And then 0, 0, that is one of the source, which means that I'm adding 1 to this.
1,
And
1.
then 1, 1. And where do I store
Then
it back?
0, 0.
0, 0. Excellent. Then what is the I3?
Again load 0, 0 into 0, let's say 1, 0.
Yes, 0, 1, 0, yes. And then I4?
Add the values in 0, 1 and 1, 0 to, let's say 0, 1.
0, 0? No, right? Not 0, 0. 0, 1?
And 1, 0.
And keep it in?
0, 1.
0. And then I5?
The incrementing 0, the 0, 0 value, adding 1 to the 0, 0 value.
But now we can see that there is a repetition.
Yeah, now
Which
we
we-
can use jump statement.
Yes, right. So let's say we now jump. Did everybody follow what I am trying to do? If you are not understanding, please stop me and ask. I will not kill you. All right. I don't even have the power to kill you, right? You are in virtual world, right? So it's okay to ask questions. It's new for a lot of people. If you understand this, you can design anything. So let's say jump item. Okay. Does everybody agree with this problem statement and then the solution that we came up with? Does this work?
We need to put one termination condition, but otherwise it will work.
Yeah, if we have to put a termination condition. If I don't put a termination condition, what will happen? I can keep adding not just 30 numbers, I can keep adding infinite numbers, right? Assuming that after 0, 0, 0, it just goes on infinite. Let's say the small box capacity is infinite. Okay, so that is the first problem. So we figured out the problem. The first problem is what? Termination condition. What is the second problem?
How can we remember these I1 and I2s?
Yes, excellent, right? How can I remember? I1, I2, I3. Right? Because I have just told him to jump I2, but you should never forget this jump is not actually jump. What are we telling him? We are telling him what? Instead of jump, what are we telling him here? What is this jump actually?
1, 0, 0.
1, 0, 0.
Not right. 1, 1, 0. Right? So you are actually telling him 1, 1, 0. So this I2 is, he can't understand this language. You have to tell him in binary terms. We'll see how to do that. Okay. Okay. For now, let's target the first problem. And let's say I want to solve this problem. So how do you solve this problem? So we know that we want to go through 30 numbers. How do I solve this problem?
Some comparison operation we can introduce.
Okay, excellent. Go ahead.
Maybe we can keep another box which says whether we should jump or not.
Excellent. Who said this answer?
Vaibhav.
Okay. So he's saying we'll add one more box whether we want to jump or not. Okay, that's an excellent solution. But what will you populate that box with?
As you said, like
Index.
index or something like that. Like
Alright,
true or false will be stored in that.
Okay.
The true or false value will be done by the if condition.
Yeah, but where is that if condition?
Maybe we can introduce new instruction to the board.
Okay, introduce new instruction to that. Or do you want to modify some other existing instruction itself?
Can we subtract two addresses or something like that?
Yes, sir. We can subtract these like the number of times we want and the like Vaibhav said, the element of that particular thing, and if they are 0, then we will come out.
But you don't generally write for loop like that, right? You go I equal to 0 up till I equal to 30, right?
Yes, sir.
So maybe there's some other easier way to do this. Let's say I'll give you a hint. Let's say instead of jump, I have one more instruction called jump not 0. So instead of JMP, I have a new instruction called JNZ. So what does the name tell you?
Jump
if not zero.
Yeah, jump if not zero, right? Which means that I am looking at something and saying whether it is zero or not.
Okay, like we'll store some number in the box.
Mhm.
Every time we decrease the box value, like
Mhm.
value inside the box,
Okay.
when it comes to zero, we'll stop jumping.
Okay. For now, well, let's say I should have had more boxes here, but this is not the box that I want to add. Let's say I have never used 0, 1 after this particular case, right? Let's forget this I1 was ever existed. Let's say the 0, 1 box is free. Right? Let's just humor me and say that, okay, 0, 1 box is free. And in the 0, 1 box, there is this value called 30. Okay.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
sir, in the last box, in his house, we have stored 1. And we are increasing the value of the box where we need the address. So
Yes.
if instead of that box, if we increase the value of 1 box, like earlier it was 1, then after that 2, 3, 4
This one.
till 30.
Okay, where is 1, 1? What am I doing with 1, 1? I have forgotten. No, 1, 1 is the. So what
So
is
we are
1, 1?
keeping 1 in 1, 1.
Oh, right. So why did we do that?
Sir, to increase the
that
address.
middle.
Yeah, but I
So
want to
if-
go from left to right. I don't want. So if I do that, if I do 30, then it will come from right to left, right?
No, sir. I'm saying that in 1, 1 we have 1, and
Mhm.
every time we'll be having in box 0, 1 we'll always have the address 0, 0, 0, 0.
Okay.
And every time we'll increase the value of 1, 1, like it will be 1, 2, 3, and till 30 it will go.
Yeah, but how will you check till 30? That's the question. Like whether you increment this box, okay, whether you increment this box or this box, it's the same, right? But how will I know I have to increment only till 30? That was the question, right?
Okay, sir. Yeah.
I don't know whether you understood or you just saying okay.
Yeah, I got it, sir.
Yeah. So the question is not about whether I increment. Okay, you could have done that way. So what I don't know, somebody is saying is that instead of incrementing the address from 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3 like this in this box, he will go on keeping only 0, 0 in this box, and he will just keep incrementing this box from 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up till 30, which is the same way, right? So there is no much difference. But I still have to figure out how do I do this 30. So let's assume for now, I mean, we'll come back to it later. Let's assume that this instruction was not there and somehow I have started my program with the second instruction and everything is working perfectly well. And this 0, 1 has 30 here. Okay. So now instead of this instruction 5, right, after this 4 I2, I will not write down again. I'll assume that you know that I am talking about the same thing. So I will have I2, I3, I4. Okay, maybe I'll write it down. Right? So I have add 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, and then I load 0, 0, and 1, 0, and then I have add 0, 1, 1, 0, and 0, 1. Now in I5, I will decrement the value, whatever is here. Right? Do you agree that I should decrement? Because I have added one value. Right? I decrement this value. So I do a subtract. Right? I do a subtract from what? 0, 1. Is it 0, 1 or what? Okay, why did I do this add here? 0, 1. So why was this 0, 1 here?
I think, sir, you added it using like adding 2 variables and storing in one.
Okay, so this was added here, right? Okay, so I think I have to introduce one more box or else people will get confused, I guess. Okay, let's say we have one more box which was 0x here. Let's assume that instead of having 4 boxes, we had to start with 4 boxes. And let's say this box, we'll call it as 100. Okay, and let's say this 100 has 30. Okay, so that will solve all problems, I guess. Okay, so subtract. Subtract 100, whatever that box is, with 1 1, because I want to subtract 1 and I know that 1 1 has 1, right? And store it back in 100. Right? So now whatever was there in 100 was 30. I subtracted whatever was there in 1 1, that is 1, and I'm storing it back here. So what will be stored here? 29. And I just write jump not 0 to I2. Okay. Is this okay?
What is not 0?
Yes, what is not 0? But before that, did you understand why I added 100 box, one more box here? Because I was just using up all the 4 boxes, right? So that's why I added one more box here. Is it clear why I added one more box?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Forgetting this, on what I jump, did everybody understand till here? So we'll start the poll again. If you are not understood, feel free to do that. Okay. Yeah, it's an anonymous poll. Forget about how it jumps. Okay, a lot of people didn't understand this. Okay. For people who didn't understand, you can use a kerchief on your mouth so that I can't recognize you. But can you tell me from where did you not understand? Okay. Let's assume that you didn't understand. Okay. I assume. Okay. Did everybody understand till this problem statement? Did everybody understand till this problem statement? Okay. There's one more poll. Okay, I think most of you have understood that part of it. Okay, so we have understood till this part, which means that I have to figure out what is the termination condition and how can I remember I1, I2, I3. Let's not worry about how can I remember this. We are only talking about how can I find out the termination condition. All right, so that's my main goal. How can I terminate it? So because I want to add only 30 numbers, how can I finish writing these 30 numbers? Right, so let's draw this figure again. So what I have is this guy. Right. So I have, let's say instead of 4 boxes, he had 5 boxes, or just so that it's easier for me to explain. So instead of 4 boxes, I can have actually any number of boxes, but let's try to limit it as small as possible. Let's say he had 5 boxes instead of 4 boxes. And this is still true that he is connected to a box which has some number of boxes, and starting is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, and this is still standing here. Okay. So I am writing a program for this, and my goal is to add whatever numbers are here, 30 numbers, and keep the sum of these 30 numbers, this number plus this number plus this number plus this number plus this number, in finally somewhere here, in one of the boxes. Let's say I want to finally store it in this box. I want to store it in this box. What is this storing? This is storing the sum of 0, 0, 0, right, plus 0, 0, 0, 1, plus whatever is there in 0, 0, whatever is there in 0, 0, 1, plus up till 30 numbers. So it is storing that number. So that is my goal. And what is the initial condition I have? I know that this 0, 0, 0 has a value called 0, 0, 0, which means that I have a base address, whatever is the base address here. That is what I have here. And somehow magically, this guy has a value called 1, and he'll just store 1 always. So he just has a value called 1. And the guy has a number called 30. Right? So which means that somebody has loaded 30 into that particular box. And now I want to write a program to this. So how do I write a program to this? My first instruction will be, I will write it again. My first instruction, the first instruction will be, yeah, can anybody quickly say so that they can look at the previous thing and say, I want to load, what do I want to load? I want to load from this register, right?
0, 0, 0.
Yeah, 0, 0, 0, and into where? In 0, 0, 1, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. So I load whatever is there in this register. So what does this register have? This register has actually 4 zeros. And what is there in 4 zeros? Some number X. So that number X will be loaded into this register. So finally, this register will have X. Did everybody follow till here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you are not following, please stop me. I can explain it again. But once you, as I said, some of my classes are very slow. But once you understand this, I can guarantee you that you will be able to solve anything that is thrown at you, right? I loaded that. Now what do I do? I want to load this value. I want to load this value to some register and then add it. All right. So maybe I will load this value here and add whatever was stored here and store it back here. Does that work?
Yes, sir.
Right. It works, right? So now what do I write there? I write, what do I do? Can I just write load?
So first we increment the value stored in 0, 0, 0.
Yes, right. So I have to increment the value stored in 0, 0. Why? Because I want to load from 0, 0, 1 and not 0, 0, 0 again. So what do? I do add whatever is there in 0, 0, 0, this 0, 0, 0, right? With, and I know the 0, 1, 0 has value 1. So I add this here and then keep it back in 0, 0, 0. Which means that now after I2, this value will become what? 0, 0, 0, 1. Right?
Sir, why can't we just load into 001 and then add it to 011 directly?
Why can't I load what?
Into 001 and then add it directly to 011.
No, but load will overwrite whatever is there in before, right?
So like 011 will have sum of 0 plus 0000. Like initially it will be 0, right?
No, okay. Instead of this instruction, what do you want to have? If you can tell me, I can see. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to know what is this before this instruction. What do you want to have? Without this,
I want to add 001 and 011 and store it in 011.
Okay. Without this, I mean, instead of this instruction, you want to have add what? Add 0,
1. Like 001, 011, and then store it in 011.
No. Can you go slow? Add 001.
011.
Okay.
And store it in 011.
Store it in 011. Okay. So you are assuming that, what are you assuming? Are you assuming something here? You are assuming 011 has 0 initially.
Yeah, initially.
Okay. Let's go by your logic itself. I think it works. Okay. Okay. Now what do you want to do?
I3 will be I2 initially, which you cancelled out, right? I2. So I3 will be that.
Yeah, this is I2 now. Okay. Now what do you want to do?
Now I3 will be equal to the initial I2.
Okay.
Which you cancelled.
Okay. Add 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 0, 0. Okay. So now you implemented this.
And now jump.
Now jump? Jump to where?
Like you can continue the loop, right?
Yeah. So where do I want to jump?
Like, I don't know, jump if not 0, you added some condition, right?
No, let's forget the condition for now. Where do you want to jump now?
So we should decrement first and then do the jump to I2.
Yeah, but so do I jump to I2 or jump to I1 now? Forget about the decrement. Do I jump to I1
and then jump to I1?
I1, sir.
Now it's jump to I1, right? That's what I think.
Yeah, jump to I1. Yeah.
Right? You want to jump to I1. Okay. So forget about the condition. Let's say I want to add infinite numbers. If I want to add infinite numbers, does this piece of code work? So does everybody think that piece of code works or not? Can you look at it before answering the poll? Just look at it. I am not adding 30 numbers. I want to add infinite number of numbers. I have only these 4 instructions. Somebody beautifully came up with something different. If I run this, will this work? Would I have added, so let's say I had 100 numbers here. Do I compute the sum of all the 100 numbers, and would the numbers be there? The summation of that will be in where are you copying? It's finally in 0, 1, 1, right? Yes. It seems to work, right? Why? Because, okay, let's erase this so that people don't get confused. Why? First, you are loading whatever is there in this 0, 0, 0, right? In this 0, 0, 0, you have 4 zeros, which means that I'm talking about this address. So whatever was there in 0, 0, 0, you are copying it into 0, 0, 1, which means that whatever was here is copied to 0, 0, 1. Right? Okay. Did everybody understand this first instruction at least? So understanding this first, so if I understand that you are putting no, but you should tell me why, where are you not understanding, right? As I said, you can tell your friend to ask that question, maybe to whoever is very active, maybe you have WhatsApp on, right? Anyway, you guys are using WhatsApp when you're copying in exams, so maybe you can use it now also. So if you can WhatsApp your friend and if you can ask, then it will be great. Because I am not able to figure out where you are not understanding, right? So I am assuming that you guys are able to understand this first instruction. So what is this first instruction saying? This first instruction is saying, I want to load something from this 0, 0, 0, right? Let's call this as mem, right? Let's call this as mem and this as reg, right? Register. So whatever is there in that register, I have some value. And what is that value? That value is 4 zeros. So finally I get 4 zeros. Whatever is there in this 4 zeros, I am copying it to 0, 0, 1. I am copying it to 0, 0, 1. So after the end of this instruction, whatever is here would have been copied to 0, 0, 1. Okay. Let's assume that you figured that out. Then what somebody told, or what we are trying to do is, I am adding this. So this add anyway, if we figured out, right? Whatever is there in this register value, let's for now assume that if there are 3 numbers like this, it's register. If there are 4 numbers, it is memory. Right? 4 digits, it is memory. If there are 3 digits, then it is register. So whatever is there in this register and this register, I am adding these 2 values and keeping back in this register. So whatever is there here plus whatever is there here, initially it was 0. Let's say it was 0. You are adding these 2 and keeping back it in 0, 0, 1, which means that I am adding what was here. So I copied what was here to here, and then I added these 2, and then I kept it back here. Right. So finally, what is this guy storing after the second instruction, whatever was here, right? Because I just added 0. Then I am doing this add, which means that I am adding whatever is in 0, 0, right, with 0, 1, 0. Right? The 0, 1, 0, I know that already has 1. So I am adding these 2 and keeping back in 0, which means that after this instruction, this guy, instead of having 0, 0, 0, he will have 3 zeros followed by 1, which means that he is pointing to this particular box. And now somebody beautifully said, I will jump to I1. Now when I do a jump to I1, I have the same instruction. This is the instruction. So you should not confuse with this. This is the instruction that I am talking about. Right? This is the instruction I am talking about. When I am converting this instruction is no longer this instruction, this 4 zeros, right? But it is what?
0, 0, 0, 1.
0, 0, 1, right? So whatever is there in 0, 0, 1, whatever is after this instruction, whatever is there in 0, 0, 1 will be copied to 0, 0, 1 here, right? So this one. And then I am again adding this value with this value and storing back in this value, which means that previously what was the storing, what was here, right? So I am adding these 2 values and keeping back here. So at the end of this add, what would you have added? You would have added these 2 numbers. Does everybody follow till here? Okay, let's assume that we follow. Then again, I do a jump. When I do a, so then, sorry, I do this, which means that this guy will become 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, right? Because I added that to this, right? So I added this guy with this guy and stored back it in this guy. So which means that this became 0, 0, 1, 0. So when I do this load, it is no longer neither 4 zeros nor 3 0 and 1, but it is 0 0 1 0. Right. So now whatever is in 0 0 1 0 is copied to here, and then I add these two values and then keep it back here. And then again I do a jump. Right? So this seems to work perfectly well if I don't have a limit on how many numbers I'm adding. Okay, did everybody follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
please stare at it once more. If you are not following, we'll figure it out, right? But now the question is, when do I jump? Now this is this just keeps on jumping. So I don't want that to happen because of the previous issue that I had, because there is no termination condition. So I figured out that there is one more tiny box here, which is storing 30. So instead of this jump, what do? I decrement the value, right? So I say subtract, right? I say subtract 100, whatever is there in 100, and whatever is there in 010, because I know that 010 always stores 1. Somehow I have stored that, right? And then I store it back in 100. Now, which means that this 30 became 29, right? So whatever is there in 100 became 29. And then I do jump not 0, right? I do jump not 0 to I1.
We'll also give 1002.
You give what? 1002?
Like,
Yeah.
it has to
Jump
check.
zero
It's
command.
not zero.
A lot of people talk. So
I think they're saying that just to check that from 100 whether it is 0 or not, we should give this condition also in jump not 0 statement.
okay, let's say this jump not 0 doesn't have that condition, but there is something else which you might have heard of it many times, but you are maybe not able to connect the dots. Okay, I don't know, when you have written C programs, right? Sometimes it says overflow error. Have you any time encountered that?
Yeah,
Yeah, what does that mean?
capacity like
So what? Let's step down a bit and go back to your first semester. You wrote a program, and the compiler. I mean, after you sorry, not the compiler. When you start running the program, at some point it said overflow, and then it will kill the program and exit out. You didn't check for any condition. Maybe some instruction that you gave for the C program created an overflow. But how did the CPU figure out that there's an overflow? Okay, maybe you might not be able to connect that. Yeah, go ahead.
The ones are out of the bounds, like
Yeah, but how does it figure out?
the register.
Okay. Oh, yeah, register overflow. Okay, when you are doing,
It has an inbuilt check. It has an inbuilt check when you try to write something more than the size it can store.
Yeah, no, that I agree. But what I'm saying is, so how many of you done 2's complement addition?
Yes.
All have done.
All have done, right? So what is that thing that goes out here called? You forget that bit. What is that bit called?
carry bit.
Signed bit.
Yeah, carry bit. There's one more bit. What is that bit called? So in 2's complement, you forget.
Sign bit.
The sign bit is one. There's one more bit.
So where you do the BOR of the carry out of the second last carry and the last carry.
Yeah,
the
so
overflow check.
yeah, the overflow bit, right? So it's called an overflow bit. So any arithmetic instruction, whatever arithmetic instruction that you take, is generating these bits. So when I execute this instruction, when I execute this instruction or this instruction or this instruction, it is setting a set of bits which is pre-programmed here. So this guy in this house, he has one more tiny box where there are few bits. Let's say for now there are 4 bits. These are not like these are bits. So one of the bits is called a 0 bit. The other bit is called, say, overflow bit. We'll figure out all other bits as we go ahead, as we construct this house. So what the beauty of this 0 bit is, whenever there is an instruction that gets executed, right, this bit is being set or reset. Let's say he executed this instruction, this subtract instruction. If the resultant of the subtract instruction was 0, then this bit would be what? 1. If the resultant is not 0, what would this bit be? 0. So what this jump not zero is beautifully doing is, it is just checking what is the 0th bit. If the 0th bit is set, then it will not jump. If the 0th bit is unset, it will jump. Is that okay, or do you think I am just making?
And so could you explain the working of the 0 bit again?
Okay, let's say you, okay, I think I am okay. I am 5 minutes out of the time, but let's say I will take for 10 more minutes before. You executed this instruction, right? If the resultant of that instruction is 0, then the 0 bit will be 1. Okay, let's say I am amplifying this and you are seeing what is there in this bit, 0 bit.
So this is only for the subtract command?
Okay, for now, for your understanding, let's take it's only for subtract. We'll add as we go.
Like basically, instead of checking 100, it will always check the 0 bit.
Yes, but it is not tied to 100. That's the beauty of it. It can happen anywhere, right? So if this subtract command, any subtract command, anywhere the subtract command, if it gives a 0, if the resultant is 0, this 0 bit will have 1. If the resultant of a subtract instruction, any subtract instruction is not 0, then this will have 0. It's just telling whether my subtract instruction, the most previous subtract instruction, resulted in a 0 or not a 0. If it is 0, then it would set itself 1. If it is not 0, then it will set 0, right? Does it
Okay,
sound
sir.
okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah. But what is this jump not equal to 0 doing? It is not tied to the subtract instruction. What is it tied to? It is
Yeah,
tied to the
0th
0th bit.
The 0.
If the 0th bit is 1, then what is it? What does it infer? That it is a 0. So I cannot jump, because when can I jump? I can jump only if it is not 0. So this will not jump. But if the 0th bit is 0, which means that in this case, let's say the first time the subtract happened. So when the first time the subtract happened, this 30 was converted to what? 29, right? This 30 was converted to 29, which means that was it a 0? Was the resultant of the subtract instruction 0?
No, sir.
No, right? So what does 0 bit have now?
0.
0. So after this instruction, this small box has 29, right? This small box has 29 and 0 bit has 0. So now I am saying jump not 0, I1. So is this instruction convinced that it is not 0? Yes, because the 0 bit is 0. Right? I am telling 0 many times. I think I'm making you confused. But if you think about it, you will understand. So I will jump to I1. So when will this not jump? When will this not jump and go to the next instruction?
When the
When
0
bit is 0.
When 0 bit is
1.
1, right?
1.
Yeah. Right. When is it 1? When this instruction will produce
0.
0. And when will it produce 0? When this becomes 30 to 29, 20 to 27, 27 to 26, and up to 0. Okay. How was this? Did it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If it did not make sense, think about this. You might not want to listen to my voice, but just look at this picture. Once I will post it. Once you look at this picture, I think you will understand it, right? Okay. For the last question for thing. So how can I remember I1, I2, I3?
Sir, maybe one guy can keep the track of all the instructions came till now.
No, I don't want one more guy.
So don't we need memory to store it?
Yeah, but where
Like all the instructions have to be stored in some memory, because we can jump to anything anywhere, right?
Yeah, so I have to have some memory. So what did I initially say? I said I will give I will give I1 followed by I2 followed by I3 followed by I4. Right? I said I will give him one after the other instruction. But now I am saying I will give one set of instructions. Yes. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So instead of giving, so initially when I started my design, I said I will give I1. After he finishes I1, and then I'll tell him, first you sleep and then you wake up. And after he wakes up, I will tell him eat breakfast. And after he finishes eating breakfast, I will say watch TV. But now I'm not doing that. I am telling him, wake up, eat breakfast, eat lunch. If you are tired, sleep. If you are not tired, play a game, then eat dinner, right? Something like this. I'm giving a set of instructions, and there are some if statements in it. And what do you call that set of instructions?
A program.
A program, right?
Program.
So, but you have already seen one kind of program that you were writing. What is that kind of program that you were writing? C program, right?
Execution.
Yeah, you were writing C program, right? Like you are all experts in C programming, right? I have heard that you guys are next champions, right? So you are great C programmers. But what is the C program considering? Is it has some called main and return 0 and hello world and things like this, right? But where are you executing this program on? On whom are you executing this program? On this guy who is sitting, who is very dumb, who has only 5 boxes with him, and maybe some 4 bits with him, and some few more boxes here, and one girl, right? That's all. He has nothing else with him. Right? He has a house with 5 boxes and some few boxes here and some bits. So now I cannot just directly give him this program. If I give him this program directly, will he understand this program?
No, sir.
No, right? So I have to convert this program to what kind of language? To zeros and ones.
Assembly.
No, need not be assembly also. I just have to convert it to zeros and ones. Right? Finally, I have to give him zeros and ones. But how do I get those zeros and ones? So I write one more program, and that is called GCC since you know already, it's called a compiler. It will convert your C program to ones and zeros. But before it can convert ones and zeros, it has an intermediate step where it converts into this load, add, subtract, right? This is whatever we came up with, right? If you remember, we came up with this thing, right? Using this, your C program will be converted to. And what is this called? Can anybody guess what is this called? This roadmap, what is it called? Any guess is fine. You might have heard of it, right? So what is the processor that you have, Vaibhav? Huh?
i7.
i7. What is the architecture of that i7?
CISC.
No. It's called something else, right? Yes, it's a CISC-based processor, but what is that architecture called? It's a name, right? You might have heard of it. It's called
x86.
No, x86, right? I don't know whether you guys know about it or not. It's an Intel architecture is called x86.
Yes, sir.
Right. So it has certain philosophy of design, right? So it has this number of instructions. Maybe Amit Kesri is angry with me. He said, I don't want to have. So what was this ad doing? This ad, let's say, what was this ad doing? This ad was doing something like this, right? I have an ad with source 1, source 2, and then destination. So what am I doing? I'm adding these 2 and keeping it in destination. But Amit said, I don't want to have it this way. I will have it this way. So is he wrong in doing this? Right. So this is a different way of making this guy understand. So which means that this guy is a bit different. He understands something different when compared to my guy. And maybe this architecture is called ARM architecture. You might have keep hearing this, right? I don't know whether, yeah. So there is an x86 architecture, ARM architecture. In your lab, you will be learning an architecture called MIPS architecture. There is DEC Alpha architecture. Right. There was 8085 architecture. There was 8081 architecture. So if I compile, okay, now for the last question of the day, if I compile my program on an Intel i7 processor and try to run it on a processor which has AMD, will it work?
Most probably no.
How many of you say yes? Who said yes?
Work, sir.
Who said yes?
So can you repeat the question once again?
Okay, so you compiled the program on Intel processor, which means that you converted this C program, to this add, subtract, and all those things, right? And you converted it to ones and zeros, and you ran it on the Intel processor. It works. Now you just copied that into an AMD processor and you started running it. Will it work? So how many of you say yes?
AMD also uses x86, so it
Yes.
should work.
Yes, AMD also uses x86, so it means that the guys are same. It's just that Maybe Intel has 5 boxes here. Let's say Intel has 5 boxes here, AMD has 6 boxes. Maybe there are 2 girls in the Intel, there's only 1 girl in with AMD, or things like that, right? You don't know. Maybe this guy is a bit more brainier or whatever, but the way they understand is the same. So we call it the same, it's the same architecture. It's called x86 architecture. Intel and AMD use the same architecture. But if I compile it on an Intel processor and ask him to try to run the same program on an ARM processor, then it will not run, because that guy cannot understand what you're trying to tell him.
So when you say something has the same architecture, you mean these commands are the same?
It's a very vague. I actually should be saying it has the same instruction set architecture. So there are 2 things. One is the ISA, which is the instruction set architecture. What is the instruction set? So what do I mean by instruction set? This is what I mean by instruction set. This thing is an instruction set. So I have a same instruction set architecture. Of course, the architecture itself might be different, but I have the same instruction set. Of course, if you didn't understand all this, it is okay. We'll be building on it as we go ahead. But the more important part is, even if you didn't understand, this is fine. Okay. Just before you break, how many of you didn't understand this program, the goal of the program, and I writing the live file, including the jump not 0? So with this poll, I will figure out whether I need to repeat it again in the next class or not. If you can answer this poll, it's fine. Forget about the instruction set architecture and all those big terms. We are only worried whether you understood this final sheet or not.
Sir, like if you understood, we should keep yes or no?
Oh, okay. If you understood, you should keep yes, right? Why? Oh, you totally got confused with 0 bit or what? Yeah, if you understood, please keep it yes. If you're not understood, press no. Okay, some 6 people haven't understood. So I'll try to figure out, okay, please do this, go home and just try to figure out this. If you're not understanding, please mail me. I'll somehow try to explain this again. It's okay even if you take more time. Once you have the basics right, I think things will be very easy. Like then you will start teaching me, right? That's what is happening to your previous batch. I don't know, Amit might know. These guys are teaching me the architecture now. So, but the basics should be strong. So those 9 guys have said no, they have not understood this. So I'll try to repeat it again. Forget about the ISA and all those things. If you understood this. But spend some time before the next class so that you might understand what you haven't understood now. So if you spend even 5-10 minutes, I think you should be able to understand. Okay. So I'll stop.